is dedicated to you. So dedicate and to you. That's a short line in Anapest meter. And the last one we can consider is a dactyl. So that's stressed, unstressed. Stressed, unstressed, unstressed. Stressed, unstressed, unstressed. So things like wickedness. Stressed, note, note. Stressed, note, note. Underscore. Replicate. And then replicate all of this. You see, are you starting to see how you can have this cyclical pattern going? Replicate all of this. Two dactyls. Da 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 da. So that's a dactyl. Hopefully that makes sense. Now we can look at some rhymes. So that's an intro into rhythm and poetry. Here are some rhymes. So rhyme is when two words sound the same. You can have masculine rhyme, which is only one syllable, so things like near and fear. I don't know, any two words, blue and shoe, things like that. Masculine rhyme, only one syllable is rhyming. It doesn't have to be a one syllable word. You could have camcorder and stir. If that happens to rhyme, I'm just looking for something around the room and all I can see is a camcorder. A feminine rhyme is when two or more syllables rhyme. So things like dinner, sinner, or dedicate and replicate. You have that icate part that's rhyming. Also fire and ire, that also rhymes. A near word, a near rhyme is close sounding, but it's not exact. Things like word and burn. You get away with this all the time in singing because what are you stressing? And you're stressing the vowel sound, so what happens, because at the end people don't really care about. In poetry it's a lot harder because you're not stressing that vowel sound, you're looking at the whole word. So that's a little difficult. And the last one is I rhyme, which looks similar as you read it, but it's not pronounced similarly. You get away with this in poetry sometimes, not so much in singing, because you're not looking at anything when you sing or listen to music. So though and through, they look like they should rhyme, but they don't actually rhyme. So those are just 4 types of rhyme that you can use. Now, bearing all this jargon about rhyme and rhythm, does poetry have to have a rhythm? No. Does poetry have to rhyme? No. Traditionally we think it does, but I mean, this is the modern era where, modern sculptures, well, let's not go there. But, you know what I'm saying, right? You don't have to have rhythm and rhyme. Now there's options for you. It's like a toolkit, You can have rhyme if you want, you can have near rhyme if you want, or you can choose not to have any of it. Poetry is simply beautiful words, beautiful language used to convey some emotion, some thought, some message. That's all it is. So as long as you can use beautiful words, you can write poetry. So we have the idea of free verse, which is actually a lot of fun to write, because there's no rhythm, or no needed rhythm, no set rhyme. You can write anything. You can rhyme if you like. You can rhyme only 2 lines. You can rhyme all but 2 lines. You can do anything you like. You don't need rhythm, and there's no set line breaks. So you can break a line anywhere, anyhow, anyway. And I just wrote this really quick one last night. That's really bad, but. Watch as the river deepens, as the water darkens, and you trip, fall, head first into the river of love. So you can see all the line breaks that I'm using to try and separate ideas, group ideas together. Trip, fall, river of love. These 2 lines are very similar, so they have a similar length. They're right next to each other. They have a similar sentence structure. But free verse, you can do anything you like, and I definitely encourage all of you to experiment with free verse, because it can be a whole lot of fun. Another one, especially if you're at Halside, you'll be familiar with this, is the spoken word, which is a new branch of poetry, which is gaining popularity. It's basically spoken poetry on film, on camera. All kinds of examples on YouTube. The Halside application this year has a spoken word video on it, which is what, if you're in Halside, you'll be familiar with it, because it was quite controversial when it came out on the supplemental application. But if I stand here to you and, you know, recite a poem, that could be a form of spoken word. Probably would be spoken word. So now it's time for your module exercise. So obviously, with the poetry module, we're going to be trying to write some poetry. It doesn't have to be long, 20 lines if you want. If you want to do more, go for it. If you want to do less, go ahead. Try to do something a bit more than a haiku. Try, for me. It took a long time to come up with this module. If you want to write more than one, go ahead. Write as many as you like. Share as many as you like on Avenue. And please, please, please read what your peers post. And provide feedback. Feedback is the best way to learn. It's actually one of the few ways writers can learn is by other writers reading their work, saying what they think about it. Feedback is very important. And if you have any questions, I forgot to say this in the last video. If you have any questions, learn like me or email me. I have 4 different email addresses right now for different things, so just use whichever one you have. I would be happy to answer any questions, even meet with you if you want. So, but yes, have fun, write some poetry. I'll write some too, share it with you, and good luck. Thanks for listening.